Hello, this is Shalonda. I am just uploading a small video just to let you guys know that this is my list of med cards that we had to submit for our exam 2. First card, we have the heparin, the brand name, the classification, pregnancy category, and no black box warning was listed. I also have the indications or the therapeutic effects of this particular drug. I have the side effects, the adverse effects. The heparin inhibits formation of new clots. Side effects would be urticaria, fevers and chills. Adverse effects would be spontaneous bleeding, bronchospasms, and anaphylactic reactions. We did have quite a few cards. The second card is the clopidogrel, or the Plavix classification. It's a blood former or a coagulator. Pregnancy category is B. Black box warning is contraindicated in patients hypersensitive to drug or its components. We have the indications would be that it prolongs bleeding time, side effects, flu-like symptoms, fatigue, back pain, edema, and diarrhea. Adverse effects, thrombocytopenia, and bronchitis. Next is the phenytoin, and I did do all of my cards. The generic name is phenytoin. Brand name is the Dilantin. Pregnancy category is category D. Central nervous agent, anticonvulsant as well. It does have a black box warning listed. The indication, it inhibits seizure activity in abnormal tissues, causes slight increase in AV conduction, velocity depressed by digitalis. Side effects is ataxia, dizziness and phlebitis, inflammation of the veins. Loss of taste. Adverse effects is the cardiovascular collapse, aplastic anemia. Next, I have the morphine. It's a generic name. Avenza is a brand name. Pregnancy category B. D in long-term use or in high use classification. It's a central nervous agent. It's an analgesic, a narcotic, an opiate. It does have a black box warning. Indication, it controls severe pain, also used in adjunct to anesthesia. Side effects, edema, rashes, swelling, skeletal muscle, flaccidity, cold, clammy skin, hypothermia. Adverse effects, anaphylactic reactions, cardiac arrest, and respiratory depression. Generic name is the baclofen. Brand name is the Lioresal. Classification, auto nervous system agent, central acting, skeletal, muscle relevant, muscle relaxant, I'm sorry. Pregnancy category C, black box warning listed. Indication, it reduces skeletal muscle spasms by upper motor neuron lesions. Side effects, vertigo, dizziness, fatigue, ataxia. Adverse effects, transient drowsiness, seizures, and dyspnea, pneumonia. Okay. Diazepam is the next card. Diastat is a brand name. Classification, it's a benzopine. Pregnancy category D. It does have a black box listed, black box warning. It shortens your REM sleep cycle and stage 4 sleep, but it increases the total sleep time. Anti-anxiety, and an anti-convulsion agent. A side effect would be throat and chest pain, dizziness, vertigo, and amnesia. Vivid dreams. Adverse effect is the cardiovascular collapse and the laryngeospasms are adverse effects. Next is the warfarin sodium. That's the generic name. Brand name is Coumadin. Pregnancy category X. Classification is a blood former coagulator. An anticoagulator. It's an oral anticoagulant. It does have a black box warning. Indicator deters further extension of existing thrombi and prevents new clots from forming. Side effects: hypersensitivity, dermatitis, pruritus, urticaria, anorexia, nausea, and vomiting. Adverse effects: major and minor hemorrhaging from any tissue or organ. That's crucial. Next would be the phenobarbital. That's the generic name. The brand name is Sulfoton. Classification, it's a barbiturate. Pregnancy category D. It does have a black box warning listed. Therapeutic effects, it controls seizures. Side effects: dizziness, drowsiness, excitation, headaches, nausea, and vomiting. Adverse effects: central nervous system depression, coma, death, respiratory depression, and Stevens-Johnson syndrome. Next card is the sertraline. That's the generic. Name brand is the Zoloft. Classification is an SSR or an antidepressant. Pregnancy category C. Black box warning is listed. It treats depression. Side effects: adverse effects is agitation and insomnia. Again, I have carbidopa for Parkinson's. It's an anti-Parkinsonian agent. Pregnancy category C. No black box warning listed. I also have the therapeutic effects, side effects, and adverse effects. Next is the propofol. It's an anesthesia. Diprovan is the name brand. It's a general anesthesia or sedative, a hypnotic. Pregnancy category B. No black box warning listed. Therapeutic effect, it is a sedative in the induction of maintenance of anesthesia or sedation. Side effects: headache or dizziness. Adverse effects: ventricular asystole, twitching, bucking, jerking, thrashing, and clonic and myoclonic movements. Generic name is the Naxalone. Brand name is Narcan. It's an antidote for opiates. Pregnancy category C. Black box warning listed. Therapeutic effect, it reverses the effects of opiates, including respiratory distress, sedation, and hypotension. Side effects are tremors, hyperventilation, increased blood pressure. Adverse effects is elevated PTT, reversal of analgesia. Next, I have the codeine, or the Paravel is the name brand. Pregnancy category C is a central nervous system agent. It's an antitussive. Black box warning listed. Therapeutic effect, analgesic patency. Side effects: shortness of breath, hypotension. Adverse effects is nausea, pruritus, constipation, dizziness, vomiting, drowsiness. Next, I have the generic name alprazolam, brand name Xanax. Classification: central nervous system agent, sedative, hypnotic, benzodiazepine. Pregnancy category D. Black box warning is listed. The drug has an antidepressant as well as an anti-anxiety action. Side effect: lightheadedness, dizziness, syncope, confusion, insomnia. Adverse effects is drowsiness, sedation, and hypotension. Next, I have the fluoxetine, the Prozac, the Serafam. It's the name brand. Classification, central nervous system agent, psychotherapeutic agent, black box warning, SSRI, antidepressant, can increase the risk of suicide. Therapeutic effect, effectiveness may take from several days to 5 weeks to fully develop. Side effects would be drowsiness, fatigue, tremors, dizziness, palpitations. Adverse effects, headaches, nervousness, anxiety, and insomnia. Bupropion is the next drug. Name brand Wellbutrin, pregnancy class B. Classification, it's a central nervous system agent, antidepressant. It does have a black box warning listed. Effects and indication, it's an antidepressive. Effects related, it's an antidepressive drug. It has an effect related to central nervous system stimulants. Side effects is weight loss or weight gain, tachycardia or rashes. Adverse effects would be seizures, agitation, insomnia, dry mouth, blurred vision. Generic name is the diphenhydramine, also known as Benadryl. Pregnancy category C. Classification, it's an antihistamine. It does have a black box warning listed. It compresses for it competes for H1 receptor sites on effector cells, thus blocking histamine release. Side effects, dizziness, headaches, disturbed coordination, tingling, heaviness, and weakness. Adverse effects is cardiovascular collapse. Next is the lorazepam. This is the benzopine, which is also a benzopine card. The drug benzopine. Classification, it is a sedative, central nervous system agent. Pregnancy category D. It does have a black box warning listed. Indication is an anxiety medication. Causes malsuppression. Increasing total sleep time. Side effects is confusion, restlessness, hallucinations. Adverse effects is amnesia, drowsiness, sedation, dizziness, weakness, or disorientation. Next, I have the pravastatin, or the HMG-CoA. That's a inhibitor statin, or a cardiovascular agent, or an anti-lipid. Pregnancy class is X. Black box warning. It reduces the total LDL or cholesterol, forms of hypercholesterolemia. Side effects are fatigue, rhinitis, coughing. Adverse effects, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation, or heartburn. Next, I have the benzodiazepine mesylate, or the Cognitin. Classification is an autonomic nervous system agent. Pregnancy category C. I do have a black box warning on this. The therapeutic effects would be it suppresses tremors, rigidity, and does not alleviate the tardive dyskinesia. Side effects, sedation, drowsiness, dizziness. Adverse effects is paralytic ileus, dysuria, or palpitations. Fluticasone is a generic name. Flovent is the name brand. Classification is an anti-inflammatory or corticosteroid. Black box warning, don't have one. Therapeutic effects, preventative and maintenance of chronic asthma, and patient require oral corticosteroids. Side effects is headache, dizziness, and fever. Adverse effects is angioedema and bronchial spasms. Salmeterol, or the Ceravent, is the brand name. Classification is a beta-androgenic antagonist or bronchodilator. Pregnancy category C, black box warning is listed. Relaxes bronchospasm and increases the ciliary motility, thus facilitating expectorant of pulmonary secretions. Side effects: dizziness, headaches, tremors, palpitations. Adverse effects: respiratory arrest. Generic name is albuterol. Name brand is the ProAir HFA. Classification: it's a bronchodilator. No black box warning listed. Pregnancy category C. Therapeutic effects: it increases ability to breathe because of bronchodilation. Side effect or adverse effect would be tremors, anxiety, restlessness, insomnia, tachycardia, hypertension, chest pain. Next, I have the simvastatin. Brand name is Zocor. Anti-lipidemic or lipid-lowering agent. Pregnancy category H. No black box warning listed. Lower total LDL triglycerides and slightly increases the HDL. Side effects: abdominal cramps, heartburn, elevated liver enzymes, peripheral edema. Next, I have the therapeutic effects. Next, I have the Montelukast. That's the generic name. Brand name is Singular. It's a bronchodilator class. Pregnancy class would be B. Used for prophylaxis and chronic treatment of asthma. Side effects is suicidal thoughts, the Stevens-Johnson syndrome, and abdominal pain. Next, I have the Flexomethasone. Brand name is Qvar. Classification: it's a corticosteroid, anti-inflammatory. Pregnancy category C. No black box warning. Decreases allergic or non-allergic rhinitis. Decreasing symptoms of nasal polyps. Side effects: headaches, cataracts, anaphylaxis, angioedema. Next, I have the fentanyl. Brand name is Duragesic. Classification: it's an opioid analgesic. Pregnancy category C. It does have a black box warning. Decreased severity of chronic pain. Side effects is respiratory depression, seizures, apnea, cardiac arrest. Next, I have lithium. Brand name is Lithane. Classification: it's a mood stabilizer. Pregnancy category D. Does have a black box warning. Prevents or decreases an acute manic episode. It stables the mood. Side effects or adverse effects is seizures, drowsiness, dizziness, tremors, slurred speech, memory loss. Next, I have the rifampin. Brand name is Rifatin or Rofact. Classification: it's an anti-infective antibiotic or anti-tuberculosis agent. Pregnancy category C. Black box warning not listed. Therapeutic effect: bacterial action against susceptible organisms. Side effects: hypersensitivity to C. diff, associated diarrhea, heartburn, sore mouth and tongue, pancreatitis, and hematuria. Next, I have the Celebrex or the Celecoxib. Pregnancy category C. Classification is an analgesic, central nervous system agent, antipyretic. It does have a black box warning. Indications: to relieve signs and symptoms of osteoarthritis. Signs and adverse and side effects would be aseptic meningitis, cerebral hemorrhage, and suicidal ideations. I'm going on 20 minutes. I have lidocaine. I do have the brand name on those, the classifications, pregnancy category, and I also have the side effects and adverse effects on those. Next, I have the dantrolene. The brand name is the Dantrium. Pregnancy category C, black box warning. Is black box warning is listed. I have the indications listed, the adverse effects and side effects listed on this particular item. Generic MAIOs, which is just a class. So they're listed as antidepressants, pregnancy category C. Next, I have the cyclobenzaprine or the Flexeril, pregnancy category B. I also have a black box warning on this particular drug. It does have therapeutic effects, and it also has the side effects listed. Next, I have the enoxaparin sub-Q or the Lovenox classification as a blood former, pregnancy category B. It does have black box warnings. I also have the therapeutic effects listed, which is to prevent DVTs after hip or knee replacement. Side effects and adverse effects are AFib, congestive heart failure, anaphylaxis, including shock, hyperkalemia, and liver injury. Next, I have the pseudoephedrine. Brand name is also pseudoephedrine, systemic. Pregnancy is C. Pregnancy category C. Classification is a decongestant. It does have the therapeutic effect listed, as well as the adverse and side effects. Next, I have the disulfiram or antabuse classification. It's a diphosphide. Pregnancy category C. It does have a black box warning listed. It has a therapeutic effects, side effects, adverse effects listed. Next, I have the ethambutol, or that's the generic name. The name brand is the Myambutol. Classification is an anti-tuberculosis drug. Pregnancy category C. It does have a black box warning listed. It also has the therapeutic effects, adverse and side effects listed. Next, I have the isoniazid, or brand name INH. It's an anti-tuberculosis drug. I do apologize for my pronunciation. Pregnancy category C. Black box warning is also listed. Therapeutic effects are listed. Side effects and adverse effects are listed. Next, I have the pyrazinamide, the Refrater. It's a anti-tuberculosis drug, class C, pregnancy category. Black box warning is listed. I have the therapeutic effects listed. The side effects are the hyperuricemia, anemia, adverse effects, dysuria, thrombocytopenia, and gouty arthritis. Next, I have the lisinopril name brand, or lisinopril is a generic brand. Brand name is the Zestril. Classification, it's an ACE inhibitor, pregnancy category D. It does have a black box warning listed. I have the therapeutic effects and the side effects and adverse effects listed. Next, I have the propranolol name brand Inderal. It's a beta blocker, pregnancy category C. It does have a black box warning listed. I do have the therapeutic effects and side effects listed, and also the adverse effects: anxiety and memory loss, depression, and erythema. Next, I have the generic name dopamine or entropin classification listed. pregnancy category C, black box warning listed. I have the therapeutic effects: increased cardiac output, increased blood pressure, improved renal flow. Side effects are arrhythmias, hypotension, headaches, nausea, and vomiting. Adverse effects are the dyspnea and angina and ECG changes. Next, and vasoconstriction. Next, I have the nitroglycerin patch, the last one. Nitroglycerin patch, brand name is NitroDur. Classification is a nitrate, pregnancy category C. It does have a black box warning listed. I also have the therapeutic effects listed, the side effects and adverse effects, which are weakness, syncope, abdominal pain, and blurred vision. You guys have a good day. Thank you for sticking with me throughout this journey. 50 plus words, it's a lot. Thank you. Bye-bye.